friends. This is Jenny, and we're going to run through an intro to yoga flow this afternoon here on my sun porch. Since so many of us are working from home right now, or maybe not working and adjusting to this life we're living right now, maybe some of you are interested in giving yoga a try. So we're going to run through just some basic postures today and spend a little time within each posture. For those of you who already practice yoga, you could use this as a warm-up. After this, I hope to record another more up-tempo vinyasa flow. So let's get started. I'm sitting here in easy pose, which is just resting the glutes on the heels. I'm sitting on a block. You can use a cushion as well. I also have a blanket over here that it's also nice to have a blanket handy to kind of help prop yourself into certain postures. As we go through, I'll explain that a little bit more. But we typically start our class just kind of sitting in a comfortable seated position. You could also sit in easy pose, which is kind of what school teacher friends maybe say crisscross applesauce. So I have very tight hips, so for me this pose is not as comfortable as Hero's pose where I just was, but it might work for you. So whatever feels best for you is fine. We typically start our practice just kind of settling in, maybe just closing your eyes or taking a soft gaze, settling into this moment, and just beginning to pay attention to your breath. So maybe not altering it in any way, but just taking note of how your body feels in this moment, how your breath feels moving in and out of your body at this moment. If you find yourself a little nervous or agitated, which I kind of do making this video, just beginning to slow your breath down. Maybe counting your inhale and your exhale. So you can inhale on a 4 count, maybe just holding your breath for a moment at the top and exhaling on a 4 count. I like to start each practice with a reading to kind of get ourselves centered and maybe help to set an intention for our practice. So this reading is from today. It's March 23rd. This is Melody Beatty, Journey to the Heart. I was driving through Montana on my way to a town on the Flathead Indian Reservation. I was going there because an old hotel opened in 1928, noted for its medicinal mineral waters, had caught my attention. As I pulled off the highway and began the drive down the side roads, I felt an environmental ambiance I hadn't experienced before. The hills were huge mounds, covered with a soft green grassy moss. Not steep, sharp mountains, comforting rounded hills, one after another. A gentle energy emanated from them. It was more than love, more than kindness. I felt comforted, embraced, almost held by Mother Earth in her bosom. My body relaxed. My spirit soared. I felt warm, cared for, nurtured, comforted. Comfort is a place we can visit often as we need to. Although certain places and objects help comfort us, it is really a place within each of us. Some of us may have thought that comfort was a waste of time, but now we know that there is tremendous power in comfort, the power to heal. We no longer have to deprive ourselves of comfort, of that warm feeling of being nurtured. We can visit it for ourselves. We can take others there with us. What brings you comfort? What makes you feel safe, cozy, warm, loved? What places, what people, what events? Learn to comfort yourself. Learn to accept comfort and learn to give it. Go to that special place of comfort whenever you need to. Stay as long as you wish. The healing power of comfort will make life better. So let's begin on our mats. I also have a strap here with me today, and you can, if you don't have a strap at home, you can use a t-shirt or a small towel as well. So we're going to begin on our backs. So just go ahead and lay long on your mat, stretching your feet long, maybe stretching your arms overhead to begin, just finding length through the spine. Beginning to find length through the spine, maybe reaching your fingers long, stretching your toes long, and pulling the knees into the chest, just giving yourself a hug, rocking side to side. Noticing how your body feels in this moment. Again, paying attention to your breath. Reaching feet to the sky, opening the arms wide, opening the chest. Taking that gentle leg up the wall pose. Maybe beginning to flex and point your toes, your feet. Circling out the wrists. Good. Just finding that gentle hamstring stretch there. And this may look different for anyone. Slowly dropping your feet towards the mat until they're in a hover position, and then pulling the knees into the chest again, rocking side to side. If that bothers your lower back, just don't drop as low. So inhale, lifting the feet high. Exhale, slowly dropping the feet towards the mat, that place where it may be a little challenging, but not uncomfortable and not hurting your back in any way. Rocking side to side. Good. Inhale, reach the feet high, open the arms wide. Good. Finding that little movement. Exhaling, slowly dropping the feet down. Inhaling as the knees come back into the chest. Giving yourself a hug, little back massage as you rock side to side. Good. Maybe beginning to open the knees wide here. And pretend you have little paint brushes on the tops of your knees. And you're just going to paint the ceiling. So moving the knees, opening the hips here. Just moving in the way that feels comfortable for you. Opening the knees wide. You can take them in opposite directions. And then reversing the direction. Good. Just that gentle movement for the hips. Inhale again. Walk. Stretch the legs high. And begin to pedal that out as if you're pedaling a bike uphill. So finding that stretch for the hamstrings. Good. And this can look different for anyone. It may be a little lower than where I am there. Could be. You could bring your feet closer to your face as well. Whatever feels good for you and is giving you that stretch. Good. Knees come in. We're going to slowly lift up to a seated position. And from there, go ahead and turn over and find yourself in tabletop posture. If you'd like to use a blanket under your knees, you can do that. You could also roll up your mat or use a small cushion, whatever feels good for you. Good. So finding tabletop. The hips are aligned right over the knees and the shoulders right over the wrists. We're going to begin to take cat-cow here. So inhaling and exhaling. It should be called cow-cat because our first pose right here is cow pose. So you're lifting the gaze, dropping the belly towards the mat, and then exhaling, rounding the spine like a scared cat as you take your gaze to your belly. So lifting the gaze, inhale, exhale, rounding the spine, taking your gaze towards your belly. Inhale, lift. Think about pushing your chest through your arms. Good. And then as you exhale, they are rounding, pushing the mat away with your hands. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. This is just gently warming up the spine, beginning to link movement and breath, which is a big part of our yoga practice. That linking of movement with our breath. Good. And we'll begin to take big circles with the hips here. So you're just kind of moving in a circular motion. So now pretend you have that like a sponge of paint right up on your sacrum. And you're just using that sponge to paint circles on the ceiling with your hips. So you're moving. Good. Just taking that side to side. You can take it both directions. Circle to the right, then circle to the left. Just gently warming up the body. Good. So we're going to take our right hand and begin to take big circles. So big circles warming up the shoulder. Good. And this movement looks different for everyone. Take that opposite direction. Continuing to warm up the shoulders. We're just doing a little sequence here from our knees. Inhale, reach that right arm to the sky. Take your gaze up to your fingertips. Exhale, we're threading the arm under the body, keeping the shoulder and the head hovering off the mat. So inhale, reach high. Exhale to the hover. Good. Finding that nice stretch across the upper back as you hover. Inhale, high. Exhale. Good. Noticing that link of movement with breath. Inhale, high. Exhale, hover, dropping the head and the shoulder to the mat this time. You can use a block under your head if that's difficult. And then walking the left hand overhead. So you're walking the left hand to the top of the mat, maybe tenting your fingers. You'll find a nice broad stretch across your upper back here. And then maybe extending that left arm to the sky. Good. Drawing your shoulder blades together. Perhaps reaching behind your back. So you're opening your chest. Maybe taking your gaze up to the sky here. Beautiful. Hold there, breathing. Nice. We'll inhale, reach that arm high. Inhale the right arm high. Exhale it back to the mat. Good. And then let's find those circles through the hips again. Circling the hips. Good. And take that opposite direction. Very nice. Very nice. Good. Coming back to tabletop. So now we'll work the opposite side. So big circle with the left arm. Circle, circle. Good. Warming up the shoulder. And then opposite direction. Nice. Then we're going to take the left arm. Find that big inhale up to the sky. Inhale, take your gaze to the sky. Exhale, thread the needle. Find that hover. looking out past those extended fingertips. Inhale, high, beams of light shooting out the fingertips. Exhale, thread the needle. Good. Hovering. Inhale, high. Exhale, finding that hover, finding that length across the upper back, across the shoulder blades. Good. Inhale. Exhale here. Hold. So you're walking that right hand towards the top of the mat. Maybe tenting the fingers. Think of rolling your shoulder away from your ear. So you're rolling your shoulder to the right. So you'll find more expansion across your upper back that way. And then perhaps drawing the shoulder blades together now, opening the heart, opening the chest by lifting that right arm, maybe drawing it down behind your back. So your right hand is reaching towards left thigh. Inhale, high. Exhale, that hand back to the mat. Inhale, sweeping left arm high. Exhale, dropping left hand back to the mat. Good. Walking the hands to the top of the mat. Very nice. Taking the knees wide to the edges of the mat. Big toes come together as we push back into child's pose. Hold there, breathing. Good. Just returning to that calm breath. Nice. If you have a prop, if you have a blanket, feel free to set that to the side, or a cushion. Or you can place it, if you're having a hard time getting into that child's pose, you can place it between your feet and your glutes to help just find a comfortable posture there to rest in child's pose. Child's pose is a really nice resting pose. You could also take a block. If it's difficult for your forehead to reach the mat, you could take a block and place that under your forehead. Good, and find that resting posture there. Breathing, maybe walking the hands long. Good. Using that block if it's difficult to get the forehead to the mat. Nice, that's what that looks like. You could also use blocks or a cushion reaching with your hands, so under your hands as you reach towards the top of the mat to deepen the stretch through your shoulders. So we're going to walk the hands to the right side of the mat, maybe reaching with the right hand for the left wrist. And so we're pulling a really nice stretch through the left side body here. Good. And then when you're ready, walking your hands to the opposite side of the mat. So maybe your left hand reaches for right wrist, and you'll find that expansions through the right side body, through the rib cage. Holding there, breathing. Finding nice side body stretch on both sides. When you're ready, walking back through middle. Good, lifting back. Setting any props to the side that you may have. We'll begin to add a little more movement here into our flow. Good. So taking your gaze up between your fingertips, dropping down to the belly. So pretending you're pushing a tennis ball along the mat as your belly just slides along the mat, and then lifting to Sphinx pose here, forearms resting on the mat, finding this gentle back bend. You can begin to circle your head here, just finding organic movement, whatever feels good for you. Good. Maybe taking your gaze back towards one foot and then the other, maybe dropping one shoulder back and then the other. Good. What feels good? Dropping the head down, pushing back to child's pose. Excellent. We'll take this little flow just a few times here. Just continuing to warm up the spine, finding that stretch for back body, and then this nice stretch for front body with our Sphinx pose. Inhaling high, exhaling down. Inhale, pushing back to child's pose. Good. Finding your breath within this movement. So pushing forward. Maybe this time planting the hands under the shoulders. Keeping the elbows next to the chest and lifting to a small cobra. Exhaling down. Pushing back. Good. Taking gaze up between your hands. Push that tennis ball. Drop to your belly. Take Sphinx or plant the hands. Lifting to cobra. Good. Dropping down. Pushing back to child's pose. One more time. Nice. Lifting back towards tabletop. So we're going to begin to find some little balancing postures, core strengthening postures here. Reaching the left arm long. Stretching that right leg back behind. We'll begin with a little stretch for the calf there, so the toes are curled under. And then finding that lift through that right leg, left arm reaching long. So inhale as you reach. We're going to hold there, breathe. Breathe, 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 finding that length through the spine. Left arm reaching, beams of light. Good. Exhale, pulling that little bit of crunch there. So inhale, stretch. Exhale, pull elbow to knee. Inhale, stretch that long. Exhale, elbow to knee. Good. Reach, reach, reach. One more time. Good. Left hand maybe reaches behind. Grabbing that back foot and lifting to a little bit of stretch for the hip flexor quadricep there. Good. As long as that doesn't bother your knee. Nice. Good. You can always just keep the knee bent and the arm reaching back without grabbing that foot as well. So now let's take the right arm long, beams of light shooting out the fingertips. Stretching that left leg behind, first finding that stretch for the calf, and then lifting the leg high, looking for length. So inhale long, exhale, pull elbow to knee. Inhale long, exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale long, good. Exhale, elbow to knee. Find the length again. Very nice. Good. Maybe you're here. So just reaching back, bending that back knee. Just looking for a little bit of extra stretch there. Good. Stretching long, drop it down. Good. Back to tabletop. Excellent. So we're going to work into some gait postures here. So you're taking, what are we taking? The left leg and kicking it out to the side. The left foot is kind of kickstanding back behind us. And then we open that right leg long. Good. Turning the body. So you'll notice the shoulder is right over the wrist and the hip is right over the knee on that bent leg. And reach that right arm overhead. Finding side body stretch. Then lifting the leg, lifting the arm to the sky for that little bit of balance posture. Pulse that out for 8. Good. 4 or 2, 1. Good. Drop that right foot down, reach overhead. Now we're coming into a stretch for left side body. So now you're looking for that length from your left knee up through your fingertips. Not collapsing into the right side, but finding length through the left side as the right hand reaches down that leg. So now dropping the left hand down, we're going to push the left foot closer to the left hand and then open that right leg wide as we lift Good. Finding a modified rock star pose here. So pushing the hips high. We have a little bit of back bend in this posture, opening the heart, opening the chest, getting a really great stretch for our front body. Coming back to tabletop. Good. We'll take that to the opposite side. Finding child's pose in between. Taking that resting pose. Good. Hold there, breathing. Returning to your breath. Noticing how your body feels. How does your right side body feel compared to your left side body? So I'll turn this around so you can better see the other side. So now right foot kind of kicks to the side as we open that left leg wide. Good. Right hand plants under right shoulder. Left arm reaches overhead right up next to the ear. So we're finding that long side body stretch from the left toes up through the left fingertips. Right hip is right over the right knee. Good. Maybe reaching that left arm high, lifting the left leg, finding your little balance posture there. Notice all the right angles here, showing that we have good alignment with the knee under the hip, the wrist under the shoulder. Finding that little pulse. 4 more maybe. 3, 2, 1. 1 more. Good. Hold that high. Drop it down. Good. Then finding right side body stretch. Left arm reaching down, left leg. Right arm reaches overhead. So from our right knee up through our fingertips. Stretch, stretch. Nice. Coming back around. We'll plant that right hand down. We're going to push the right foot a little closer to the right hand. And then open that left leg wide. So we're finding just this bit of back bend. The hips are pushing to the sky. We're engaging our quads, our glutes. Open heart, open chest. In that modified rock star pose. Good. Turning that back around. Nice. Push back child's pose. Hold there, breathe. Nice. We're going to plant. We're going to come up to, let me see where I'm going here. We're going to come back to a little, come back to tabletop. Then we're going to take the right leg and just walk it forward. So just walking it up your mat as far as you can go, coming into this runner's lunge posture. So we want nothing past a 90-degree angle in that front leg. You want the knee over the ankle, and then you want that back knee pushed as far behind you as you can. So you're finding a nice stretch through left hip flexors. So we're pushing forward, stretching into hip flexors on the back leg, and then dropping back, stretching into hamstrings and good. And calf of that front leg. Nice. So maybe using a block if you have one, or a cushion. And then we're just going to roll onto the outer edge of the right foot here. And push that right thigh open and take our gaze past the right elbow. Good. So you have a little bit of twisting motion there as you're stretching through back hip flexors, front hip on that front leg. Good. Then dropping inside this front leg. We're just going to walk that right foot right off the mat. So walking it off the mat, dropping the knee down, dropping the belly down to the mat. Left leg is reaching long. Then we're just going to curl the upper body towards this right leg. So we're taking half tree frog posture. Getting a nice release for the lower back there. And just resting. Maybe noticing how your body feels now compared to when you started today. Holding here, breathing. Nice. And coming back through middle, we'll extend that right leg back behind us. Let's go ahead and rest your chin right there on your hands. Maybe bend the knees. You can windshield wiper the lower legs. Just giving your lower back another nice release there. Nice. Planting the feet down. Again, finding Sphinx pose. And beginning to good. Just rotate the head there, giving the neck a nice stretch. Nice stretch for cervical spine. Good. Maybe moving into the middle of the back, thoracic spine. Good. And pushing back, child's pose. Stretching across the back. Lifting towards tabletop. And now we'll take the left leg and just begin to walk that forward. So walking. Good. Finding that length, you want that back knee extended far behind you. Good. And keeping the that front knee over the ankle. Good. When you're in that forward position. So pushing forward, finding stretch through that right leg, dropping back, stretching through front left leg. Good. The back of the leg. Inhale high. Good. Exhale as you drop back. Nice. Inhale high. And so from there, beginning to roll onto the outer edge of that left foot. You're pushing the left thigh open with your left hand and taking your gaze past your elbow on the left side. I'll turn around so you can see this a little better. So you're pushing the left elbow or left thigh open, taking your gaze past your left elbow on that side. So you have a bit of a twist there. You can use a cushion or a block on the floor to help you into that posture. And then walking that left knee off the mat, pushing right leg back behind. Good, just dropping down and kind of making your upper body like a croissant. So you're curling that upper body towards the left thigh. Just dropping into that completely relaxing half tree frog. Nice release for the lower back. Breathing there. Again, noticing how your body feels now compared to when you started today. Notice your breath. Just being present in this moment. Stretching the left leg back behind, resting the chin on the hands for a moment, and planting the hands under the shoulders, pushing towards hero's pose. We're going to just rest back on the heels here, just kind of finding a little almost like a little seed. So you're resting the forehead down on the mat. Maybe your hands are reaching for your heels behind you. Just kind of finding a small little seed of a posture. Good. From here, we're just going to inhale, lifting high, opening the heart, opening the chest. Good. And then dropping back to that little seed. So almost imagining you're a lotus flower. So you're in seed and then you're lifting and coming into bloom. Like we'd love for spring to do here in northern Indiana. Dropping into that little seed. Lifting into blooming posture. Beautiful. Good. Nice. Maybe taking that one more time. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, dropping down to that little seed. Holding there, breathing. Janelle just did that with us in my training before we were canceled. I love that. Good. And from here, coming back to seated position. We're going to slowly, gently just drop back down to the mat. Let me turn off the heater. It's a little warm in here. So dropping down, rocking side to side. Go ahead and let your knees fall to the left side. Good. Reaching with your left hand for that right thigh, opening your right arm wide, taking your gaze past your fingertips there for supine twist. And bringing knees back through middle. Dropping to the right side, reaching with right hand for left thigh. Opening the left arm wide. Taking your gaze past your fingertips on that side. Just breathing into that twist. Breathing into how your body feels in this moment. And back through middle. When you're ready, you can just begin to extend your feet long to the corners of your mat. Adjusting your shoulder blades so you're resting comfortably. Letting your arms hang heavy. Finding Shavasana or corpse pose. And just returning to your breath. Feeling the weight of your body on the mat. Feel that heaviness, that sinking in, that letting go. Maybe returning to the thought, what is comfort? What is comfort? Maybe having a cup of tea this afternoon or after your practice, whenever you happen to be doing this. Are you feeling calm from your yoga practice today? And finding comfort. So beginning to bring movement back to your body. You can wiggle fingers and toes.
You also are at home, so feel free to stay in Shavasana as long as you like. If you'd like, you can roll to one side or the other, finding corpse pose, resting your head on your arm. When you're ready, slowly bringing yourself back to a seated position. Thank you so much for being with me today, practicing yoga. The light in me always honors the light in you. Namaste.